Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Afia Sports Review Sport on Afia TV. The frequencies are still the same. They have not changed. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 17 Go TV, and Channel 748 Free TV. Welcome, guys. It's great to be here on a Monday evening such as this, and this is the final week in the month of February. We're so glad that the Lord has given us the grace to come to this point, and like the good book says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. That's why we're here. That's why we're glad. Welcome, guys. My name is Sisi Emechebe. I'm also known as Sisi the Rabbi. And we're running through the review spot with the men, the guys in the house. There are people that are here who will be discussing the things that have happened in the world of sports this past weekend. And we have the regulars here. First of all, I have somebody who is the self-acclaimed divinator. We call him the divinator because he claims to divine, even though I don't know how divine his divination skills are. But I'm referring to none other than Divine Onwuka, the divinator. Divine, good to have you again.
Thank you. I always love the fact that you drop in bullets even before you even introduce me. So that's nice. And I'm receiving the bullets like a man. Hallelujah.
You're so kind for acknowledging my kindness because I was thinking about Scud missiles.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that aside, we also have in the house the man himself, the man I call the Blessed Zik. He is the Blessed Zik, none other than Zikor Ngene. Blessed Zik, good to have you here.
Yeah, pleasure to be doing this with you guys. A lovely start of the week. Great to see you on the show, Divine.
Thank you.
A lot of action that has happened during the weekend and a lot of things to unpack.
Sure, and that's why we're here. You can't look any further than Afia Sports franchise to unpack and unravel the happenings in the world of sports. Whether you talk about the review shows, the preview shows, the view shows, the banter box, everything that has to do with Afia Sports. So you're in the right place. Make sure you keep that dial locked on Afia TV. Now we're going to move straight to the headlines. We have headline news here, beginning with the NPFL. A piece of news. We are here in the southeastern part of Nigeria, particularly known for to Coal City, Enugu, and we're pleased to say that the NPFL action that happened this weekend had all the four Oriental teams have positive results. Very, very important. Home wins for Kun Khalifat and Abia Warriors alongside away points for Rangers International and Eimba. That's what made it look very, very good for the Oriental sides, representing Enugu State, Abia State, and Imo State, to be precise. Okay, and then the next bit of news, still on the Nigerian theme and the Southeast, you just have to link it up. Alex Iwobi, the nephew of the legendary JJ Okocha, was on the score sheet for Fulham FC in the English Premier League in their match week 27 game, where Fulham became the second team this season to travel to the Stadium of Light and face Sunderland and grab all 3 points. They beat them 3-1 with Alex Iwobi grabbing a goal there, enjoying his time in the southwest of London in Craven Cottage, Fulham. So that was a very, very impressive victory, and Alex Iwobi played his major role there by scoring one of the goals. And talking about goals, in the same EPL, Crystal Palace beat Wolverhampton Wanderers. We'll get to that when we talk about the English Premier League results. But a very unpleasant incident happened in the 43rd minute of that game at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Tolu Arakodare stepped up to the penalty because a penalty was won by Wolverhampton Wanderers, but it was saved by Dean Henderson, the goalkeeper of Crystal Palace. And as a result of that, racial abuse began online. The trolls, trolls are cowards. They will go there and start insulting and racially abusing players. And it's gotten to a very serious point where people of African descent in the English Premier League are being mocked and racially profiled and racially abused. Tolu Arakodare was the latest of that, and it was a very vile act. This is coming off the back of what happened to Wesley Fofana after he picked up a red card for Chelsea in the game between Chelsea Football Club that Chelsea played this past weekend. Then those are the bits of news that we're bringing to you from the headlines, and we're going straight to the NPFL proper, Nigerian Premier Football League round 27, which is match week 27, and we're going straight to the happenings there. We'll give you the results of round 27 in the NPFL. Warri Wolves got a goalless draw at home against Barao FC. This was a goalless draw that played out in Ozoro in Delta State. Then Wiki Tourists beat the defending champions, Remo Stars, by 2-1. Remo Stars are in a very sorry state right now, because when we reveal the state of the table, you will understand why I say what I say. Remo Stars have been struggling seriously this season in the NPFL, and something's got to give if they're going to retain their NPFL status. Katsina United and Rangers International shared the points in a goalless draw over there in Katsina. A very, very profitable draw and credible draw for the Flying Antelopes, while they maintain their second place. We will get to that in a jiffy. Then Kun Khalifat also grabbed a very important victory at home to Niger Tornadoes. They beat them by 2-0. Important victory indeed it was. Ikorodu City, the league leaders, Oga Boys, could only muster a 1-1 draw against Bayelsa United, and that happened in Ikorodu, Lagos State. Kano Pillars, same as Sugida, are struggling in the relegation zone, but they had to do themselves a lot of favors by getting a 3-0 home win at the Sani Abacha Stadium against El Kanemi Warriors. It was a game that had the veteran himself, the 45-year-old midfielder, attacking midfielder, Rabiu Ali, grabbing a goal there. He just can't stop scoring. He can't stop performing rather in the NPFL. Then Nasarawa United are still in the title discussion, and that is because of the 1-0 win they recorded against Bendel Insurance there in Nasarawa, Lafia to be precise. Abia Warriors grabbed a 1-0 win against Kwara United. I don't know why he's saying but maybe because he's from Abia State, but no problem. So he got that, a 1-0 win against Kwara United. That was a very, very important one indeed for Abia Warriors, led by Imam Amapakabo. Then Plateau United were the biggest winners in round 27 because they thrashed, battered, bruised, obliterated Shooting Stars of Ibadan by 4-1. That was what happened there. 4-1. And Rivers United and Eimba. Rivers United seem to be the title favorites because of where they are on the table. They are fourth on the log with 4 games in hand over every other team. But they could only muster a 1-1 draw at home to Eimba, the People's Elephant. So that's how the results rather of round 27 in the NPFL. We look at the standings. Ikorodu City Oga Boys are sitting on top with 45 points, with Rangers International, our darling Flying Antelopes, following suit with 44 points in second place. Nasarawa United, the same number of points, 44 points, but they have an inferior goal difference. Rivers United are fourth on the log with 43 points, the same number of points as Abia Warriors, who are in fifth. Then Bendel Insurance, Katsina United, Shooting Stars of Ibadan, and El Kanemi Warriors are all on 38 points, sharing 38 points. That is how tight this league is looking. A lot of margin for error. And then you have them in 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th places, respectively, with Plateau United ending the top half of the table in 10th position, having 36 points. Then the second half of the table starts with Warri Wolves, who have 35 points. Niger Tornadoes and Barao FC share 34 points, but goal difference separates them, hence they're in 12th and 13th, respectively. And then Eimba, the People's Elephant, are 14th, sharing the same number of points, 32 to be precise, with Wiki Tourists and Kano Pillars. That's 14th, 15th, and 16th. The relegation zone is looking very, very strange, particularly because of where the defending champions are. But 17th place has Bayelsa United with 31 points. 2 points behind them in 18th place are Kwara United. Then Kun Khalifat of Owerri are with 28 points, and they are the penultimate team in the league in 19th. And then the basement boys, the Atlas of the NPFL table, is Remo Stars. Remo Stars, remember, are the defending champions. So it's looking very bleak and very, very disturbing for them. Now, I'm coming to the guys. Let me start with you, Divine. This is a very, very unforgiving season. We know that, I've always said this time without number, that the two most competitive leagues, as far as I'm concerned, because I've been following football for a very long time, for the better part of 3 decades, consistently. And I know very well that the two most competitive leagues that I know are the NPFL and the EPL, that's the English Premier League. There's very little margin for error in these. And we're seeing it play out in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Results are there. There are points to be gained and points to be lost. the vast majority of teams here have 11 games to go, and a lot can happen in 11 games. That means there are 33 points for grabs. Many teams that are here are not going to get those 33 points. That one is a sure banker. Points will be lost, points will be gained, but it's a question of who gets more points than the other based on your aspirations, where you're going to finish. Are you going to finish at the top of the table in the continental places? Are you going to finish as a mid-table side? Are your objectives just to avoid relegation? These are the things that we're looking at. But what are the most impressive results to you in this round 27 in the NPFL?
Number one, my own Afia Warriors. I hope that one no be personal matter.
What's in concern me? Talk now. Afia Warriors, fine.
I'm happy, yes. Afia Warriors getting their own win and still trailing on the top half of the table. I think they're 4th or 5th on the log. So that's very, very wonderful. Then our Rangers, yes, our dear old Rangers who are still, sorry, let me speak more on Rangers. Let me do more on Rangers.
Go ahead, please.
When the season started, as a matter of fact, towards the end of last season, Rangers were not themselves. They were dropping points here and there unnecessarily. Games that should have been won. They even lose to teams that are even below on the table. So it was actually a disturbing condition that we saw there.
Yes.
Then coming at the beginning of the season, it's continued. So I even spoke about it that Sir Fidelis Ilechukwu, that's the coach of Rangers, should do something and rally the boys up and do what needs to be done, and whatever loopholes that has been created needs to be filled back up. And here we are now. We are seeing them. It's how do I say it? It's been a miracle season. Let me put it that way. It's been a miracle season for Enugu Rangers. Right now, they are second on the table, and there is a possibility that they can win the league. So for me, I would say Rangers generally are giving me the vibes, are giving me, something to write home about, are giving me a reason to smile throughout this season. So for me, as long as the East is concerned, Enugu Rangers are the best, followed by Afia Warriors.
Okay, that's great. That's fantastic. No, Zeke, I'm coming to you on this. Rangers, like we said in the headlines, the Oriental side, the Southeastern sides, put up good performances, which is why they got good results at the end of the day. The teams that went away did not leave empty-handed. They got the points that they needed. They went there to make a point, and they made the points. No pun intended. Rangers got a valuable point on the road against Katsina United. Eimba got a valuable point on the road against Rivers United. They went over to the Adoke and Messimaka Stadium there in Port Harcourt and got that result. Yes, I know the Finidi George axis, the Finidi George factor, because he coached Eimba before. So in as much as Finidi knows Eimba also know him. So I think that could also play out. That's an important point to note. But looking at the other sides too, home wins for them. Afia Warriors got a 1-0 home win. Kun Khalifat got a 2-0 home win, which is helpful in their race to avoid the drop back to the NNL. How is this looking right now? It's too early to say who exactly is going down, considering the fact that Remo Stars are rock bottom. And some other teams are
they're still quite United is just under.
No, right now, the time Remo Stars are rock bottom. Kwara United are 18th. 18th.
So we didn't have the updated version.
Remo Stars are rock bottom right now. Okay. No, the defending champions, they are rock bottom. So it's looking very, very terrible. But what's your take on how the season is looking now and what needs to be done to correct things? No, not just from a Rangers perspective, but let's start. Charity begins at home. We're in the southeast. The southeastern side, it would be lovely. Now, I'm just trying to throw this back to you, but it would be lovely from my own perspective, based on how realistic and plausible their objectives are, for them to achieve their objectives. For me, Rangers, within the title discussion, Afia Warriors are the closest to Rangers in that title discussion. Eimba, unfortunately, are in a bit of a wobble. They're having a bit of a wobble, but...
Oh, you're talking about only the Southeast right now?
Yes, Southeast now, a bit of a wobble. Then you and I can agree that the only objective that Kun Khalifat have this season is survival. So I don't know if you can add more to that and throw a bit more light on the situation with the Southeastern clubs, because that's what I want to talk about now.
Okay. Well, like you said earlier on, it's been a very positive week for the Southeastern teams. it's all quite unfortunate that some of them are not having spectacular seasons like we expected. Unlike the two teams that my counterpart Divine had already mentioned, Enugu Rangers and Abia Warriors. But aimed by the great elephants have been, floundering in the lower echelons of the table, and it's very, very unfortunate that it has, reached to this extent with that proud institution of Nigerian football. 1-1 draw against Rivers United, as much as it is respectable, if you look at where they are in the table, it's not something to write home about. For Kun Khalifat, after that period whereby they went on a personal decision from the club and an intentional decision from the club to withdraw from the Nigerian Professional Football League. Their results have actually picked up after coming back to the setup. So I don't know if that's a mind game or a ploy from them to try and create a little bit of chaos, us against them, the world
like a siege mentality,
right? Something like that. So I like that aspect if that's what they are going to do. But I don't think it's a very wise move to be doing, even if you survive this season. You won't be pulling out of the league every year just to get your own way out, to change your own circumstances.
It's a strategy now.
I want to throw it back to the top of the table. Rangers are doing well. It's a very good 0-0 draw that they got against Katsina United.
Yes.
You see where Katsina United are on the table. They are a very, very good side. So to get that 1 point against them, proves that the team is really, really working in the right direction. Abia Warriors, congratulations to them on their 1-0 win. I still just can't put my mind at ease for all the teams fighting for the table, for the top spots in the table. Because when you look at the table, there's an unaligned motion whereby Rivers United have like 4 games in hand. Everybody's on 27 matches and somebody's on 23. So it distorts the table slightly. Like the table is not
balanced.
Yeah, the table is not yet the way it should be. But you can only play the games that's in front of you.
Yes.
So for the Southeastern team, it's been a good weekend. But those at the top of the table, they can't sleep or rest easy because, of course, Rivers United have 4 games in hand.
Yeah, okay, very important, but we just need to, I think we have enough time to sit back and watch and see how the remaining 11 games for most, and then let's say the remaining 15 games for Rivers United unfold. And we'll be here at the end of the season, around May or so, and then we'll find out what happened and talk about it. We'll know who's going down and who's staying up. And talk about going down or staying up, we are here to discuss the merits and demerits of the contractual dispute between Eric Sekou Chelle, the manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and the NFF, the Nigerian Football Federation. Eric Sekou Chelle, remember, has been the manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and he's come off the back of a very successful, that's in terms of performances anyway, very successful African Cup of Nations campaign where Nigeria were one of the most attractive sides and also one of the most effective sides in the AFCON, going all the way to the 3rd place match and winning that against the Pharaohs of Egypt. Now, Eric Chelle brought a bit more hope and flair to the Super Eagles side, a very successful run in there. But now his contract, his future has been discussed, and the salary that he was being paid before per month was $70,000 per month, but now he's asking for $130,000 per month alongside 18 other conditions that have to be made. It's looking very, 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 very difficult for the NFF to keep those conditions, considering the fact that they've even barely managed to pay the $70,000 per week. But Sekou Chelle has simply told everybody that he is worth every single dime of that money. And he's shown that in the African Cup of Nations. But we're going to discuss this right now. The salary of Chelle, like I said, beg your pardon, his current salary is just about $50,000 a month, not even $70,000 a month. So he's asking for something that will move his salary to almost 3 times, almost triple the amount. And that's in exchange for him extending his tenure. Because clearly the people, Nigerian football lovers, have loved what they've seen coming from the stable of Eric Chelle. But let's discuss this proposal. Let's discuss it. Does it seem too extravagant? Does it seem too dear? Is it something that the NFF will be able to sustain? Should they even make that move to agree to those terms? How realistic or unrealistic does this look? I want to start with you, Zeke, because this is, I know that many Nigerians are torn. They're divided regarding whether to honor this new contract that's been put on the table or not.
Well, it's quite a normal response to when someone does well. Mr. Chelle has had a very decent African Cup of Nations with the Super Eagles, with the way the boys played the football that they kind of played, the amount of fun that the team seemed to have had during the last tournament, and the way it elicited a joyous response from the fan base. Nigerians were united. It was quite unfortunate that the two games that we couldn't score against was the game that we lost in the semi-finals and the game that we won the third place bronze medal
against the Chiefs.
I just think, coming to the contractual situation, it's quite unfortunate that the NFF have a recorded history with unpaid bonuses from both manager and playing staff. And I know that someone like Chelle, I've been impressed with the way his team has been playing, or with the way he was able to reconfigure this team to start playing the brand of football that they delivered on the AFCON stage. But he also should look at history. It's not as if I'm trying to be the bearer of bad news for him or for those that want him to renew with the Super Eagles. But I think the decisive factor there is the NFF and whether they can get their house in order and they'll be able to release the funds that is available, because there's no question that we have a very, very good manager on our hands and on the books of the Super Eagles, and we shouldn't be apprehensive to pay the money. If you have the quality, or you have somebody that can deliver what you consistently demand, because the Super Eagles job is not a tiny slot. We have seen people use it, and all of a sudden they get big contracts, get big moves. People that, for me, are not even worth the standard, all of a sudden come and become the manager of Super Eagles. People know, my friends, people that have heard me speak previous in the past, know I have reservations over previous occupants of this role. So if you have somebody that has this quality, that can deliver what modern football calls for, attacking vertical football, whereby you pierce the opponent at every turn. The Super Eagles is dangerous from different angles, set piece, transition, build-up play. He's somebody that brings something like that to the table. You shouldn't play with such opportunities, because we are giving him, if we give him this contract, or if the NFF do the needful, we are giving him the mantle, not just to win an AFCON, but to set the mantle if this appeal doesn't come out successful against the DRCFA for the next World Cup, which is coming in 2030, to give us a respectable showing in those global set pieces. Because I think AFCON is no longer the target for a nation as Super Eagles. We have won the AFCON 3 times, we have come second multiple times, the highest number of bronze. The AFCON should be the list of his targets. Qualification with games to spare for the World Cup, the next coming, because everybody can attest to, we had a shambolic World Cup qualification. So give him the contract, but there should be targets, specific targets, whereby it's not because of AFCON. No, AFCON is just, I think it's not a gimme. It should be a gimme for any Super Eagles national team coach that the list of us is semi-finals, finals. That's what we should expect whenever we are in AFCON. Yeah. I think I speak for a lot of fans, sure. But we should give him targets. Yes. If you are going to sign that contract, if we are going to sign that target, maybe if you are going to sign that contract, I mean to say, you should reach maybe a quarterfinal of the World Cup. What's a quarterfinal? Morocco has reached the semi-finals. So that barrier has been broken.
Okay.
I'm just trying to say
Africa.
Yeah,
Africa.
no, that barrier has been broken.
It has been broken.
It has been broken by Morocco.
That's how. Despite
Morocco
Bruce was the first team to. Okay, not the first team, but we've
never gotten to the quarterfinals.
I know that the people that reached quarterfinal, Ghana, Senegal,
First Cameroon
in the 1990 with Roger Miller.
Algeria.
I'm just trying to talk about
Algeria. Yes, in 2014. Algeria got there. It was, first of all, it was 1990 was Cameroon.
No, Algeria was 2014.
2014.
That was
Algeria got there.
Algeria was round of 16
in 2014.
Yes.
Then Algeria quarterfinals. Well, we'll have to verify that now. I think it's quarterfinals.
But what I'm trying to talk about, Eric Chelle, I saw the amount, remembering that we are in a very severe economic crisis. I'm not coming to that part.
One that was self-made
in our country. Yes. I'm trying to look at the mind-boggling amount it is in our own national currency for him. Okay. It doesn't matter that he is what it is. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, so let's just leave it at that, and let me just take briefly Divine's thoughts on this. If you're checking the issue right now, the wages that let's leave the other demands because time will not permit us to look into the demands. Let's just talk about the wages. There is meant to be a wage structure, and one of the things that happens when you disrupt the wage structure is that it creates a bit of imbalance in the team, both from the technical side and then even the personnel side. Case in point being that he was in the frame for the Marseille job. That has already been tackled right now. Habib Bey, the former Senegalese international, is now the manager of Olympic Marseille. And he's earning 90,000 euros per month. Now, funnily enough, his predecessor, Roberto De Zerbi, was earning 9 times that amount. Actually, 6 times that amount. 6 times. That's 540,000 euros per month. So that's telling you that Marseille have decided to recalibrate their wage structure because they've seen it. What's the point going penny wise pound foolish in this situation? And that might be one of the things that is creating a bit of contrast between the Marseille situation and the Super Eagles of Nigeria situation. Marseille is a club that is properly run, one of the powerhouses in French football, even European football. Let's be fair. Let's be very, very fair. In European football. But we've not seen that kind of structural stability that we would love to see in the Nigerian national team setup. So calling for that kind of amount in terms of sustainability might be a stretch too far. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Is it something that are these demands of Eric Chelle unrealistic, given these things that we pointed out? Do they seem unrealistic? If they're unrealistic, what do you think would be like a ballpark figure? What do you think would be the right kind of wage that the NFF should offer him? Remember, he was earning about $50,000 per month, and he's demanding $130,000 per month. Which one seems more realistic and sustainable to you?
Okay. My question is, that $50,000, was it being paid easily? Like, was it paid at the right time each time? That is no. I'm assuming that question is a rhetorical question.
I'm not NFF. Don't answer.
Because we are not NFF.
I won't answer the question.
I'm
not even planning to answer.
Just give us.
Go ahead. Okay, so for me, I would say that $130,000 is actually a big stretch. It was like that's about twice plus the amount. That's 50 plus 50 is 100.
That's almost 3 times.
Almost 3 times. Almost 3 times. So for me, I think the demand is actually kind of high, given that he didn't really win. Yes, good performance from Super Eagles. He's a good gaffer. He knows how to run the team. Yes, but I wouldn't say we should jump from that $50,000 and move over to $130,000 just in the span of how many years? Or should I say span of how long that he became the head coach of Nigeria Super Eagles. He has played good games, but he hasn't really won us something tangible. Like the AFCON. So to speak, Nigeria played a good AFCON game, but we didn't really get the title. So I'm not really going to say that we should give him that when he has not given us something to laugh about, like a major trophy. So for me, I'm saying that amount is kind of a stretch. If he had said maybe he wants to go from 50 to, let me say, 70 or to 80, then I can understand. But moving it from $50,000 to almost 3 times that amount, no, it's actually, I won't say a little too far. It's actually too far for me.
Okay.
From my own point of view.
Well, so far so good. Too far, I don't know if it's good enough. But we will come back from this short break. Now, after this short break, we'll return and we've really done a bit of justice to the situation with Eric Sekutel. For now, it's a conversation that will still continue for as long as possible until we get clarity regarding the issues that are going. The developments will come to you right here on Afia TV during our sports franchise show. Stick around. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this short break. You're welcome back to the Afia Sports Review Spot on Afia TV. The frequencies are still channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. Welcome back, guys. This is still CC the Rabbi, and we still have the Blessed Zik Zikorangene here with us. And we want to sincerely appreciate Divine Onwuka, the divinator, who lent his voice and his wisdom to the issues that have been transpiring in the world of sports, in the metro and also on the continent. But now we are joined by the lady in the house, the lady with the lamp, the lady with the style, the lady with the analysis, the lady with, I almost said the kuboku, but there's no kuboku in her hand. Referring to none other than the lady herself, Queen Chioma Chikeze. Welcome back, Queen.
Yeah, thank you for having me. A beautiful weekend we had across board. Let me use that word. Indeed. Negative, positive, so much to, talk about and, just reminiscence on the world of sports.
Indeed. So we move straight to the English Premier League. The results of the round of 27 games, match week 27 in the English Premier League is getting very, very hot at the moment. And we start with Brentford against Brighton and Hove Albion. That game was played at the GTEC Community Stadium with Brentford losing their home game to Brighton. A game in which Danny Welbeck scored what proved to be the consolidating goal. Then Aston Villa and Leeds United shared the spoils, a 1-1 draw. Chelsea Football Club were reduced to 10 men. Well, Wesley Fofana had a brain fart and got himself sent off for a very, very horror tackle, his second yellow, and he got himself sent off. And as a result, Chelsea surrendered their 1-0 lead, which was as early as the 4th minute till the dying seconds of the game, in around the 7th minute of stoppage time or so. Need to verify that. That's in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Fleming grabbed the goal that broke Chelsea's hearts at Stamford Bridge. It was a 1-1 draw. West Ham United shared the spoils also at the London Stadium in London, and it was a goalless draw against Bournemouth. Manchester City, a brace from Nico O'Reilly, and they beat Newcastle United by 2-1 in that game as a result of that. And then Sunderland lost at home at the Stadium of Light to Fulham. That was a game that had Alex Iwobi grabbing one of the goals for the Cottagers in Craven Cottage. And then the other goals were scored by Jimenez. Jimenez scored a brace in that game. Then Crystal Palace beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 1-0. 10-man Wolverhampton Wanderers because they got a man sent off. But that was the game we talked about that led to the racial abuse that Tolu Urakodare suffered because he missed a penalty in the 43rd minute of that match when it was still goalless. A golden opportunity to give the Wolves a 1-0 lead on the road. Nottingham Forest lost at home to a 7th minute stoppage time goal scored by Alexis McAllister. That's 7 minutes in 90 minutes. That was how late they left it. So they left the Forest ground with maximum points. Then Tottenham Hotspur, new manager bounce, no problems, because Tottenham Hotspur saw themselves being led by Igor Tudor, and it was too bad for them because Arsenal struck twice by beating them 4-1 for the second time this season, a game in which Eberechi, who proved to be a nemesis to Tottenham Hotspur, decided and nearly signed him. They were actually hours away from signing him before Arsenal masterminded a grand coup and grabbed him and secured his services before the summer window ended. And then a brace scored by Vitor Gyökeres, bringing his tally to 10 goals for the season in the English Premier League and 15 in total. Now, this is looking very, very Serious. Tonight by 9 p.m., Everton will host Manchester United at the Hill Dickinson Stadium in Merseyside, the northwest of England. And let's start with Queen. Of course, the major game here, which was the biggest fixture, and it was full of so much drama, so many talking points. Arsenal against Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal have seemed to own Tottenham Hotspur in the last 5 games, particularly 5 consecutive wins. It's never happened before in the Premier League era. Yeah. For the first time in Premier League history, they've won them 5 consecutive games. Mm-hmm. For the first time in the Premier League era, that they've won Tottenham Hotspur 4 straight wins at the stadium, their own stadium, that's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And then Eberechi has, for context, he has 6 goals in the Premier League this season. Mm-hmm. 5 of them against Tottenham Hotspur. The other one against Crystal Palace, his former team. Yeah. It seems as though he just rises up at some of the right moments and grabs goals. Then you look at Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres started poorly. I mean, by his high standards, he started poorly. But at the turn of the year, he seems like a man reborn in a way. He's actually scored more goals than any other person in the Premier League in this year. Yes. 8 goals in all competitions. So now he's on double figures for the Premier League for Arsenal. What do you make of this game? Yes, you're seeing the statistics. Please, let's pull back those statistics here once again. Please, just go back there. Those goals that you showed. So Gyökeres is there with 8 goals in all competitions in 2026. João Pedro has 7 goals there. Anthony Gordon has 7 goals. Of course, there's some stat pad in there. He scored 4 of those 7 goals against, who was it again, in that base 6-1 from Karabakh, yes, in the Champions League there. And then you look at... who's that person again? Somerville, yes, Christian Somerville, he's grabbed 6 goals. You're looking at Antoine Semenyo with 6 goals. Igor Thiago with, that's how many goals? 6 goals, right? So even Haaland doesn't appear in this top list because he scored 4 in 2026. So what do you say overall about this Arsenal performance? Is it a false dawn? You know, in the last show that we had, and that was on Saturday, Emeka was here with Nozik. They talked about that. There was part of the segment where they were saying this North London derby was either going to be a setback or a comeback. It seemed the latter was the case here, but how much of a comeback will this be in the grand scheme of things?
Okay, you know, the moment Arsenal drew the last game before the Tottenham game, that was the game against...
That's against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
When they drew that game.
From a 2-goal lead.
Yes, lost that 2-goal lead to draw 2-2. Tongue started wagging. A lot of people wrote Arsenal off and over. I think I've said this here before, that there is a different level of mentality with Arsenal than what we've seen in the previous time. Before now, once Arsenal lost at the time they lost to Manchester United, it would have been a downward spiral all through. They are drawing, they are losing, and all. In as much as they've not had good wins since then, but they still have managed not to lose games. You know, they draw their games. Yeah, they are losing points. They draw their games and all of those. But we've also seen that there's a different mentality now. Drawing against Wolves, normally for an Arsenal side, they would have, you know, that would have been it. They would have gone on a mental reset, like, oh no, like
not again,
feeling sorry for themselves.
Not again, yeah, start feeling sorry. But what we saw, and then going against a Tottenham Hotspur, a lot of persons will say, yeah, Tottenham Hotspur is doing poorly this season and all. But that's another reason why this game should have been a very tough one for Arsenal. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you had played a draw against a relegated Wolves that are just trying to, you know, see how they can manage their points till the end of the season. Mm. And then you come again to a Tottenham side that is trying so hard to avoid relegation. They're already out of the top 10. So the most viable thing to fight for now is to see how they do not get back to relegation, number 1. And then it's a derby game, number 2. This is a side that you have suffered so many losses against in recent times, number 3. So it was already looking very dicey. I know a lot of fans who said, oh no, Arsenal will lose against Tottenham Hotspur. And I told them, see this game. If Arsenal don't win this game with maximum goals, then Arteta is not ready to win the league. And I saw that in the way they played. I saw that when he spoke in the conference. And then especially after Man City won their game against Newcastle United, I knew it was going to be a win or nothing for Arsenal. And I love what Arteta did. I think Arteta is coming out from that shell of being afraid of taking certain risks,
Being too conservative.
trying to play cautious, and all that. So what he did with the Eberecheze placing, where Eberecheze played against Tottenham was not where he would have usually played, and he excelled in that role. A lot of other players, Gyökeres also came out from, his shells also to show that, no, this is what I'm used to. And I always tell people, Premier League is a very, very big league. It's big, it's tactical, everything. So as a striker or any player, when you get into Premier League, you need time to adapt. You need time. And players who come from the Portuguese league, especially strikers, they do not settle in so quick into the Premier League. They settle in gradually. And I think that's what is happening with Gyökeres. And again, he has a very fantastic work rate. And I think also that Arsenal players need to start having confidence in him, believe in him, and start giving him the ball. Because there's a game I actually come down to watch, and I realized that this guy will run into space to make something out of a pass, but the pass will not be given to him. Probably because you know how players behave. You give 1 or 2 passes and nothing comes out of it, and you are rethinking.
You don't trust
the player anymore. You're rethinking passing the ball to him, but he has this good positioning for a striker. And I think the more Arsenal begin to believe in him and give him the ball, the more they will get him to start scoring the goals and build that confidence in himself. Scoring 2 against the Tottenham side, I think the confidence is built. I will still say it again. Even if it's 1 point, even if it's half point, even if it's half goal difference, Arsenal and Arteta are winning this league this season.
Okay, I guess 22nd of May will tell whether that's going to happen. We'll watch and see.
You can't be chief bridesmaid for how many times? 4 straight seasons. No.
Somebody once said that the only quadruple that Arsenal will get this season is second place. But let's see. Zeke, getting to you right now. How much? She said a lot about the Arsenal situation. That's not London derby. That was the 199th not London derby, and Arsenal have come up top in most of them, and they have pretty much owned Tottenham in the last few years. Eberecheze, Tottenham fans are going to get sick of seeing him every time. He almost joined them, was hours away from joining them before that last-minute move, and he found himself wearing red and white instead of the lay white of Tottenham. But against the backdrop of what happened earlier, that's a day earlier, 24 hours earlier, at Etihad Stadium, with Nico O'Reilly, of all people, grabbing a brace. Whenever you see a Manchester City side that have scored 2 goals or more, the question you ask is not whether Erling Haaland has scored, but how many, which of them he scored, if not both of them. But strangely enough, he didn't score any goal, which is good for Manchester City because it shows that they are bringing out their more options, the more options that they have. Not even the most likely of goal scorers who are there. If you're saying that Haaland is not scoring, you would expect someone like Marmoush to score. You would expect someone like Semenyo to score. You expect maybe Cherki to score. Some of these players that are more offensive-minded to score. But Nico O'Reilly plays more as a fullback, but he played in an advanced role and grabbed the brace, ironically, with assists from both Haaland and Marmoush. So it's looking like they are trying to get their groove going. But against the backdrop of that result, that very, very important result that makes Manchester City put the pressure on Arsenal as they pursue them all the way. How much of a title race do we have now at this stage? How much of a title race, and what potential pitfalls do you see coming up in the next minutes? Can you just give us an idea?
For both teams, or for only Man City or for Arsenal?
You can interweave both of them, yes. Well, how much of it, because we're talking about the title race right now. Yeah. How much of a title race do we have?
We have a title race more now than we had 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Arsenal was 9 points ahead. But now it's 7 points with a game in hand, or 5 points with a game in hand.
5 points.
Yeah, 5 points with a game in hand. So it tells you that the margin for error from Arsenal has reduced drastically. With a couple of draws that she mentioned, she hit the nail on a lot of topics that she mentioned about the team. There is a title race. Arsenal can't take their foot off the pedal right now because City seems to have started hitting that groove that we have gotten accustomed to them hitting. I still don't believe that they are pouring as I normally expect a Manchester City team should be. A couple of new players are still bedding themselves in. But Arsenal have something that they have normally not had under Arteta. And what is that? I think the squad depth has improved massively.
True.
The mentality has also gone up another level. She said something about the draw against Wolves. I think a few years ago, or even the Arsenal teams of Arsene Wenger in the last decade would have crumbled after that kind of result against the team that is destined for relegation. But they have buckled up. I don't want to ascribe too much tactical understanding or greatness to Arteta because of this game. Tottenham are very poor. Tottenham sacked their manager 2 weeks ago. It's an interim manager. They have loads of injury. The bare minimum from Arsenal was 3 points, just to keep that buffer to Manchester City. So to answer your question, yes, we have a title race. Yes, there are zero rooms for error from both teams, from both Man City and from Arsenal. So yes, we do have a title race.
Okay, brilliant. So I'm talking about a title race. We also have a title race clearly in sunny Spain, La Liga. The Spanish La Liga, around 25 fixtures and results. We have Athletic Club beating Elche 2-1. Then Real Sociedad and Real Oviedo grabbing a 3-3 draw. That's a 6-goal thriller. Santi Cazorla grabbed the assist for the last goal there that gave Oviedo a very vital
I think
point.
that was Eric Bailly.
Yes, Bailly scored it, yes. Then, Santi Cazorla came on and then he grabbed a very, very important assist there. Real Betis and Rayo Vallecano shared the spoils there in Andalusia, 1-1. Then Osasuna beat Real Madrid. That was one of the biggest upsets there. Madrid losing to Osasuna away from home. Then Atletico Madrid beating Espanyol 4-2. Who else? Ademola Lookman on the score sheet. He's now scored in all 3 competitions for Atletico Madrid this season in the UEFA Champions League, Copa del Rey, and Spanish La Liga. Then Sevilla beat Getafe, Teman Getafe, away in Madrid by 1-0. FC Barcelona grabbed a very important win over Levante, 3-0. And that is vital because it's pushed them 1 point ahead in the Spanish La Liga. And Celta de Vigo beat Mallorca 2-0. Villarreal beat Valencia in the Valencian derby 2-1. And then Alaves will be hosting Girona by 9 p.m. today. We don't have time, but quickly, this race, there's just a point separating both Madrid and Barcelona. What do we make of this right now? Who's going to blink, first of all?
Who is going to blink? Either parties can blink. Some months back, I've been telling people that I think it's going to be a 1 point deciding factor in La Liga because of the way Barca and Real Madrid are. I see them as different sides of the same coin. Madrid have had a top C, top V kind of season. They've already sacked their manager. The manager they wanted to take them into a new era. They decided we don't want to go to that era. We like the era of.
They almost went to a new era.
If they carry them, they go with them. No. So they decided to turn back. So to go back to Ancelotti, big player model, and I think Arbeloa has started to understand that philosophy. But it came up undone in the weekend against Osasuna. It's the first time Madrid has lost to Osasuna since 2011. So it's an interesting weekend. I think it's going to continue like this till the end of the season.
Very interesting. So to you now, just we have just about 1 minute left.